Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's August 21st, 2024, and I'm going to be coming at you with another video topic on epilepsy. This time I'm going to be covering epilepsy and anxiety. I know that's a pretty common symptom for people with epilepsy to be dealing with. I'm going to adjust my camera slightly just so that my cats are not able to move the stand, which is really a fan. Just working on a limited operating budget here. Regarding anxiety and epilepsy, of course, I could just sit here and talk about, the endless anxiety that one person or I could deal with, but I just kind of want to keep it focused on the anxiety of being diagnosed with epilepsy, medications. That's going to be kind of a secondary thing to really what I consider the greatest source of my anxiety, which is having seizures publicly. So I mean, I already got started on the kind of list of many small or large secondary issues, which you may consider your most troubling, concern with your epilepsy. Some people really have terrible issues with their medication. For me, Keppra and I moderately get along. I don't think that it's been a wonder drug in any sense because I still have grand mal and focal seizures. But I haven't had the strong side effects of anger that a lot of people report. Before I get to that kind of big topic, which I mentioned, which is, having seizures and the anxiety from that I experience, I will kind of talk about the other things I brought up, which is, having an epilepsy diagnosis. Of course, that is a chronic, lifelong diagnosis unless you have surgery, which even in that case, surgery sometimes is not completely effective. I know it's effective in a large amount of cases. Honestly, for me, when I look at my potential future, I see that as a route I'd be considering that I have seizures on Keppra. I'll try other medications, even though Keppra is the safest. So that's, not a great, path to go down, but that's the path you got to take when you want to limit your seizure activity. Already kind of forgot the other things that I had mentioned, which is maybe having seizures alone for a while really gave me anxiety. Luckily I don't have seizures at night. If I had seizures at night in my sleep, that would be a greater concern of mine. Let's see. Just other annoyances of having epilepsy, like not being able to drive and being dependent on a partner or friends, or the bus or Uber. Uber being the most expensive option, and then the bus can just be very, emotionally laborious if it's, a lot of bus transfers and standing around in uncomfortable weather. But you have to do what you have to do. I'm lucky to have that option available to me when I know that many people are not. There's other concerns people face, like not being able to go to work anymore after they're diagnosed with epilepsy. For me, I always worked from home, and so this wasn't a concern, and it's not like I'm sharing that I have epilepsy to people I work with, because if I had a seizure at home, hopefully I'm not on camera, but I spend a small percentage of the time on camera. So now, have I had a seizure on camera? Yeah, I have, and that pretty much sucked. I'm pretty sure it was like an absent seizure. I'm not sure if I was shaking because, of course, I was alone, and the girl messaged me afterwards asking if I'm all right, and Basically I sent her a bunch of like jumbled nonsense, as well as another coworker. I forwarded him the same message trying to reschedule because I know I was trying to meet with him later that day. But I woke up in my bed and I was so confused like by what I had sent, extremely embarrassed. So that gets me to my biggest highlight, main point of this video, which is anxiety stemming from having seizures, big and small, meaning focal in general. The small being focal, because as I said in my first video, I'd probably break that down to people who might not know. A focal seizure is abnormal brain activity happening, you know, on one part of your brain, temporal lobe, frontal lobe, wherever it's happening. I can't name all the dang hemispheres, and I know there's 2 hemispheres, but you know what I'm saying. I would say for me, since I have both seizures, I have different kinds of anxiety stemming from the seizures as well. During a focal seizure, I mostly have focal aware seizures. In a focal aware seizure, you're aware that you're having a seizure, you're aware of what's around you. There are some things that you don't really comprehend, like if people are talking to you. I don't really understand that. I'm unable to talk, you know, I'm unable to really move properly. I can walk, you know what I mean, but I'm kind of uncoordinated, and I definitely get hot and like get sweat on my face. But it's a strange experience, and I've had focal seizures in front of my family, and you know, my mom will get very scared, and she's like, are you okay, are you okay? She's, you know, very anxious in general, but those will really frighten her, and I have to explain, yeah, I'm all right, just something that happens. And it's happened to me at a bar before, when I was out with friends, and this lady is like, get her some water, get her a towel, she needs to sit down. I'm looking at her and her eyes are going all crazy, and I'm like, this is what I'm hearing her say after I'm coming to, and it's pretty, I took some notes. I would just say more acutely embarrassing to experience that. You know, of just like frightening people, but you actually are there to witness it, and you're just in a weird, lost world. Like, when it's happening, I don't have any emotions about it, you know, I'm kind of shut off. Then afterwards, I'm like trying to explain what happened, you know, and that is a bit, my goodness, that is a bit embarrassing and difficult for me at times. Moving to general seizures, I would say this is just a different ballpark of anxiety, because it's anxiety about something that you were not there to witness, the conversations that were happening. You weren't there to witness what you were doing, what people saw, you know, and it's a heavy experience. You know, during my first, you know, I'm urinating myself. Of course, this is very common. Yeah, I'm having conversations with people before I'm convulsing that I don't remember, you know, and it can be difficult. It can be embarrassing. I would say afterwards I get this really existential issue that's like tied to this whole, you know, having that chronic diagnosis of epilepsy. Like, is this really something I'm going to experience forever, even on medication? Just sort of sucks, you know. I definitely feel guilty for having my family be my caretaker. I know, you know, there's no guilt in being loved, but I feel guilty that they are so afraid to see me go through that. It's a hard experience for them to witness, and like I said, I'm not there to witness it myself. So those are just kind of some ideas, general topics, things that I've mulled over going through my experience with epilepsy. Of course, you know, everybody's life is different, and so epilepsy can impact everybody's life in an infinite amount of ways, as infinitely as different as we all are. So yeah, for me, those are the biggest ones. as someone who struggled with social anxiety, those would be the biggest ones. Go figure, the instances where I'm embarrassed in a social setting. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything you'd be interested in watching. I might just, come out with random topics until people want to see a specific subject.